Hi, this is Aptamer with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 8th of October. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is at record levels, and surprisingly, nobody in the government taking credit for that, which I suppose they could. Not much to take credit for at the moment. But what we can see here is that recent support around the 94.20 area. Above that, we're looking for our previously appointed target there towards 95.70, the top of that black June rising trend channel. Above that, looking for up to 97.80 as a best case scenario target by the end of next month, which is a May resistance line projection. I suppose we can already start to dream of 10,000 for the FTSE by Christmas, but obviously one doesn't want to jinx it. There is a breakdown. The old August-September resistance area, previous record high is 93.50, probably the worst that we're expecting at the moment, although obviously the 50-day line can almost come in as support as well, and as that is the floor of the channel at the moment. Moving on to the DAX, and here it's a matter of seeing whether this market can consolidate. Last week's gap to the upside, this looks like a mid-move consolidation bull flag, which would obviously be rather exciting. And we're stalled at 24,500, which was basically July and August resistance, record highs. Through that, and that's probably why the market is stalling, then we're looking at the top of the channel there. 25,800 now by the end of next month, or even sooner, I suppose. Given the setup that we have, rising 50-day line, unfilled gap to the upside, we should actually get there by the end of this month, because that is a very strong setup indeed. If there is a fall or a rug pull, then it would be the 50-day line, 23,900 at worst, that we're expecting at the moment. Moving along to the Dow, and here it's almost as if the shutdown situation hasn't really affected this market. It's probably a little bit up on where it was when we started those fears. But at least while we're above the recent support around 46,000, looking for the top of the channel there from May last year, nudging 47,900 and looking for that by the end of this month. If there is a rug pull, and also I suppose also the 50-day line comes into play there, then we are looking at 45,400. But that is the worst we're expecting on the downside at the moment, as we had back in August, and I suppose back at the beginning of May. Next on the list is Bitcoin, and here it's all about trying to work out whether we will get that move up towards the top of the channel there, the black channel there from February, 134 now. We'd be looking for that by the end of next month now, because we pulled back a bit from the 125 record high, but we've got a rising 50 and 200-day lines there as well. And while we're above 118, the August-September resistance, still looking for 134. Perhaps as soon as the end of this month, but probably now, realistically, better to leave it or assume that it could be there by the end of next month. If you're a fan of Bitcoin and looking for the greatest glory at the moment, that would be the top of the overall rising trend channel there from November last year. That's heading up to 153,000. And I suppose as a best case, really best case scenario, that would be the end of year target for 2025. On the downside, the worst case is the floor of the channel there around the 110,000 level. So let's be even-handed if we do break back below 118. Ethereum is next, and I have to say this is still rather disappointing, or has been disappointing. Tested the 50-day line there at the moment, which is rising, so hopefully we'll bounce off that area, so 4406, or bounce above that, at or above that. At least while we're above that, looking for the top of the channel here towards 5400, looking for that by the end of next month, given that the price action seems to have slowed down since the summer, or at least since August. The other point to note is that we're bouncing off that RSI resistance line there towards the 54 level, current levels. Hopefully we'll bounce off that and bounce off the 50-day line for a move towards 5,000 plus. But as I've said, I think recently this market still looks about $500 too cheap, which is slightly frustrating. A market which is not looking cheap at all at the moment is gold, where everyone has managed to read their screens and tell us that it's hit $4,000. But we were already on the case here above 38.60 in the top of that rising trend channel from April. We've been looking for 41.60 and looking for that by the end of next month. Worst case at the moment, probably a move down towards 3,800, but ideally we stay above that price channel at 38.60. This market just seems to be going higher in a parabolic way. Moving on to the stocks, and obviously everyone and their mother waiting for M&A news from Audioboom, and here you can see that even though when I suggested 750 or 770 now, or 775 was a potential target for the end of this month. It was regarded as being the kiss of death. Obviously, it looks as though the kiss of death is not working in this situation. So 775, hopefully in coming days. Above that, looking for an acceleration towards that resistance line there from December as high as £12. And that would be hopefully by the end of next month. Ideally, now we stay above the old February resistance there around £6 rather, 70. I think that would be a good end of day close stop loss, and hopefully we'll stay above that. The other point to note is that we've had RSI 50 rebounds, especially in the recent past, double one there in September, and then three or four, several actually, in the recent past, the latest one just last week. Those are all continuation signals, and they're all something you see when a stock or market is in strong bull mode. So hopefully this time, Audioboom won't let us down. The other thing to note is we've had a V-shaped bull flag breakout, so the recent resistance there last week around 699, and obviously we've broken that quite easily today. I think that was actually the initial October peak. Moving on to Aptamer, which signed a mystery deal with a mystery company, a deal with a mystery company. Here you can see that we've had two unfilled gaps to the upside now, breaking back above the previous target there around 0.9 pence. Looking for a retest rather simply of the September 1.5 pence resistance, hopefully as soon as the end of this month, but obviously allowing for the end of next month and hoping that we'll stay above the floor of the gap there at 0.95 pence on an end of day close basis. This has been the year when every dog has had its day, or almost every dog, and it's obviously the turn of Bradda head to step up to the plate. Here you can see that we had a rather optimistic looking target there around 1.75 pence, which is briefly exceeded, but we are looking for a bit more actually. If we can get an end of day close through 1.75 versus 1.5 at the moment, then we could be up to 3 pence by the end of next month. Obviously, that's the most optimistic target, and we don't want to fall back below the September resistance of 1.45. So at the moment, it actually looks as though a little bit of a one-day wonder for that stock, but let's see. We can hold above 1.45. On to Bezant, which has been one of the big winners of the recent past. Here you can see that it's been a vertical move in recent days. We blew the doors off the previous target there, 0.07, and looking for 0.13 really, hopefully by the end of this month. What you can see here on the longer dated chart is that above 0.13 we could have an extra leg to the upside as high as 0.18, which would be a stunning recovery, and actually is basically the mirror image of the decline that we had for the shares from 2022 to 2025. So just reversing that at the moment. And for RSI watchers, you can see that we had that RSI 50 rebound, in fact 50 plus rebound at the end of the month when the shares were just 0.05, and we've really rocketed from there. So that particular signal, which I've really been bringing into the frame in the last year or so, or even less, actually a very good indicator and something which can give you a sign, which very few signals can, of the magnitude of a coming rally or obviously decline. On to Cloudbreak, and here we can see that I've rejigged the chart, or at least the price channel, given that we hit all the previous targets. Here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel that's been in place since August. Top of the channel here heading for 1.55 pence, which is what we're looking for basically, while we remain on the right side of 0.8. Once again, double RSI 50 plus rebound, so hoping for a fresh leg to the upside there. Conroy is up next, and some fundraising news has actually helped the share price. We already hit our 10 pence target, which we were very happy about, given that it seemed to be a difficult thing to do. But we're now looking for up to 22 pence by the end of next month. Not sure what would do that. Maybe gold going to $5,000, etc. But looking for the 20 pence plus zone by the end of next month, while we remain above, or at least on the right side of 10 pence. Next up is Panthera, which sort of soothed the market with its update today regarding litigation funding, which seems to be very much in place. We've got the rising trend channel target there up to 22 pence by the end of next month. Best case scenario target here up to 30 pence by the end of the year, I suppose, if we can break through and stay above the old resistance there from May around the 19 pence level. On to the last two, and the first one is Rome Resources, which continues to be something of an enigma, but just got the hint here that we're ready to rebound. We bounced above the 200-day line. The RSI is now back above neutral 50, and end of day closed today above a sharply rising 50-day line. Would be a rebound signal, as would be the 200-day line starting to curl up, which I think we should do by the end of the week. Looking for still the 0.5 pence area while we're on the right side of 0.3. Finishing off with a stock which had some news today, which is Xeros, and here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel there from back in the summer of last year. Top of the channel, they're heading for 2.75 pence, which is what we're looking for while we're above the 1.6 pence area on an end of day close basis. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.